Damage. Eject. Operation Retrieval.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Netflix Earthrise Soundwave. I guess you can call it the Earthrise version, but it's the one for a Walmart exclusive. This was a bit hard to get for a while. Finally got a second one to open up so I can take a look at it. But we're going to talk about this one, and I want to say before we get into it that I like it more than I thought when I got it in hand. So let's talk about this. It's coming up. So here it is in the packaging, and the really good thing about it is that you have two cassettes with it, so you don't have to buy those separate. So a $30 figure, $10 cassettes, and his two weapons and all that. Here we go with artwork on the side, and on the back you get to see everything that you get with it, more or less. So it's the same kind of packaging they've been doing. I do like the angled side. It is kind of a cool look, a cool aesthetic. I like the way they did that. So looking here at Soundwave, I think he actually does look pretty good. It's a pretty nice looking figure overall. Now, my biggest concern when I first saw the pictures and images of this guy is that his chest is just going to be a little bit too wide. So I don't think it's really an issue. In hand, it looks okay. Yes, it probably still is a bit wide, but it accommodates these cassettes, which are already pretty small. So it's kind of an interesting size scale, the way they went with it and the way they made these tapes this size. But anyway, you do get two cassettes with it. We're gonna look at those here in a little bit. But looking at Soundwave himself, looking at his head looks good. That is very quintessential Soundwave. You do get some light piping if it's not really working there. But he has paint right here, paint all the way around this eject door, paint on his waist, no paint on his thighs, and paint right here. That's an issue. He doesn't sit up there as well as he should. All this paint on the lower legs. The back is relatively clean. This is a bit unsightly, but it is to keep a relatively simple transformation on the main line. Simple transformation translates into lower price point, less engineering. He has a bit of waffling on the bottom. There are some kits out there for filler kits and stuff, but I'm not going to quite get into that just yet. Looking at Laserbeak real quick, he does look good, but these do have a better paint job on them. They do look more G1-esque. Looks a lot more like the original, and it's a pretty cool looking little guy. He looks okay. The downside is he's supposed to clip into 1, 2, 3, 4 notches, and he does sort of rest on it, but he doesn't clip in well. I mean, if you're just standing there displaying it, he's going to rest there okay. And what I've seen several people do is just unfold this notch piece here and clip it in that hole right there. It's a 5mm port, and that works, and that gets the job done. He can push his button to pop his chest open if you have Ravage in there just right. So, oh, come on. It does pop open, so Ravage kind of hung up the mechanism. All right, so let's do a quick comparison, and this one is the one that comes with this Soundwave, and this is the first release version. So Ravage looks a little bit, everyone says looks a little more tuned. There's just kind of less paint apps on Ravage, so if you like this here with the less paint apps, but more of kind of a cassette look in cassette mode than this one here. So yeah, maybe that's whatever your choice is. I think they both look great, so those aren't really that big of a deal. And here they are compared to the Laserbeaks. Now this is a big difference, especially in the head and the wings area. So this one is the first version. This is the Netflix version. So definitely a big, I'd say, improvement in the paint apps. And really that's all it is improvements in paint apps. Other than that, it's the exact same figure, except, no wait, they did remold the head. Look at the head. Pointier beak than before. Kind of crazy. Getting back to Soundwave, because it is a Soundwave review, right? He does have these parts here that kind of carry over. I understand that carries over from Siege, so that's still there. You can use that as a gunner. I understand you can actually remove it if you want cleaner look going on his lower arms there, but or you can have extra guns. So I mean, that's always something you can do. It's a thing that you might want to do. I don't know. Anyway, I don't really care about it so much. It is kibble that I think is unnecessary, and I don't like unnecessary kibble and all of that. And you couldn't make them like tuck into the arm, the big old armhole there and all that stuff. So there's a few negatives to it, but overall, I mean, let's just celebrate the greatness that it is. It does look really good in this mode. And he does have his guns. Only one really is a gun, the other one, but they were both kind of like batteries. There's places to store them on the back and stuff if you're not using them. So there's all those 5mm ports. So yeah, that definitely works. He also comes with another gun, and it's this one here. And it's like kind of like an MP10, kind of transformation of a gun in a way. And then you can, I don't know which end is going to be your barrel. And then there it goes, transformed. It's kind of cool. All right, for articulation, he has his head goes side to side and up a little bit and down a little bit. He has about a 90 at the shoulder, 360 at the shoulder, bicep swivel. You have a 90 right there. Hand doesn't do much, but he has this nice little eject finger. You do have a 360 right here at the waist. You do have about a 90 right here to the front. And I guess if you lift that flap up, you can go a lot further to the back. And then you have a mid-thigh swivel, about a 90-degree knee. And you do have ankle rocker, so just a bit there, so you can get a little bit of a stance. You get a little bit of posing out of this guy. Not drastic, but hey, what you need for the main line. Here he is with some of his fellow bad guys, Decepticons, doing some bad guy Decepticon stuff. He is a bit shorter than the Megatron, and if sort of eye to eye, head to head with the Starscream. So if you like that scale, a little shorter than I would have liked, but still he looks good. It works okay. It's going to look good on your shelf. It'll look good to display. Here he is next to Kingdom Cyclonus, and yeah, they existed together in the same realm, so I guess it works out. I do really like the Cyclonus figure also, so that's pretty cool. But I mean, I think I like Soundwave the character more though. And here he is next to the Optimus Prime. Now this is a cel-shaded version of Optimus Prime from Siege. So I just figured, hey, let's throw something different in there you're probably not seeing comparisons to. And then we got the Hot Rod from the Studio Series 86. And well, this figure's actually on sale for like 26 bucks right now at Target. So if you haven't jumped in on that guy, get in on him. If you haven't jumped in on this guy, you might not find him in the wild. And here he is next to the original G1 version. And a couple of things I want to say about the comparison to the G1 is how close it sort of is, but yet different and upgraded and updated. It's a bit shorter than the original G1. The transformation is sort of simple, but he is sort of kind of more rounded out when you look at this guy. And we'll move Magic Square around too, so if you want to see what they look like together. So this is a lot thinner over here, and he's more rounded out, more thick. And I kind of, in my mind, I think more like Soundwave would be bigger like this anyway. But the back, you know, it leaves a little bit to be desired there. And so there it is. I guess I could get one that's complete, right, to show. But anyway, this is kind of some comparisons. But it's always good to see where we've been and where we're going. And where we're going really is kind of Magic Square. I still think Magic Square's design looks so much better, but it is more complex. The Magic Square one's more complex. There's more complexity to it. And Magic Square is still more expensive than this Netflix one. So I think the big question here is, which one's better, this one or the Siege version? And to be all honest here, I didn't even open Siege. I only have it because I found it at Ross for like 12 bucks. But looking at them side by side, I actually like this one more in hand. But one of the things you notice is, or you might not be able to see from the picture, but the Siege one is a bit slimmer and trimmer. So they did redo a lot of parts on this one to make it look more G1 and to have an easier transformation into a cassette player. So there's good things going for the Siege, but there's definitely a lot of good things going for this. I kind of like this cleaner look versus the, I don't know, the all covered in space mud kind of look. So, you know, to each his own, but I think you could be happy with either of these on your shelf.
Transform, you fool, now!
Get this guy transformed up real quick. Let's take his guns out. And I'll go ahead and take this one out too. Set them aside. And first off, I'm going to go ahead and just put his head away. And then we need to fold his hands in on both sides. And then we're going to move his arms to the back. Now, it seems like there's like a very specific way to position the arms so they can tab together and stuff. And this back piece here is going to tab in, the shoulder is going to tab into the back of the arm. And then before we do all that, let's go ahead and move the waist piece around. There we go. Now we can do that. Same thing over here. There we go. Now for the legs, you want to open up the lower back part. You're going to pull out this piece and tuck the foot in. And it's kind of interesting how it's just going to notch in just right. You got to notch it in there just right. So kind of going, wow, this is some kind of stuff you see on third party, but a little simplified version of what you see on third party going on. All right, we're going to fold that up and clip it into place. Same thing here. Turn that and fold it up and clip it into place. And on this part here, we're going to open the fillers, put them in, and the fillers even tab in. So pretty good. Overall, pretty good, easy, simple transformation. Looks good, gets the job done. Let's go ahead and put all the parts and pieces. Now, the gun itself, you can just push that in and tab it in the back, like so. Store it away. Let's store away the other one on this side. And then it's kind of like, where do you put this other gun? Maybe right here in the middle, like that. And you have yourself Soundwave in his alt mode. Let's go ahead and have a look at him. First thing I want to look at is, what does he look like versus G1? Now, the G1 one, really, they always put the alt mode first, so that's kind of how it was, and that's just the way I always feel about everything. Even though this is from the cassette band line, it's not really a transformer, it was just brought over. But you do have a cleaner look than with the G1. But then again, the bot mode feels more right. So, I mean, you're making some sacrifices here and there. But for a very simple transformation, really easy transformation, it's really, it looks pretty good considering all of that. Now, you do have a lot of the things on here, like it's painted where it says record and battery, and then play, fast forward, rewind. These pieces here, which is really weird, that the filler pieces are just bare plastic and the rest is painted. So that's strange. I do have a scuff right here on that, so some of the paint's already scuffing off. That's not good. I don't really like that, the paint scuffing. I haven't done much with this other than transform it like twice. But it's pretty busy in the back. There's a lot going on. I do like the fact you do have the eject button. It works, and you can put your cassette in here. So let's see here. Will it eject okay with? Okay, round two. There we go. Ejected better. I guess it depends on how you put it in there for the eject, but that's just kind of springy. But anyway, yeah, it does hold the cassettes and it does eject. It does what it needs to do in alt mode. I think it's a pretty nice alt mode. Pretty easy transformation. I'm really happy about that. And in case it matters, this is what it looks like with the first version. First version of the cassette in there. And does it eject the same? Yeah, pretty much. So this has been the Walmart exclusive Earthrise War for Cybertron Netflix series version of Soundwave, and it's a pretty good bot. He looks pretty good. He looks the part. I really like Soundwave, so I really like the fact that we've got a figure that's so G1-esque. And I've seen so many Soundwaves over the years come and go that I was like, nah, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not even gonna bother. And then finally this one, I was like, well, I had to bother. So it looks pretty good. I'm kind of excited about it. He does have some downsides. He does have some serious gaps in his arms. The back of the alt mode is just really not very clean at all. But for a real simple transformation, I guess we're trading off for that. Definitely now, though, I can see why so many people really like Legends, because that Legends Soundwave is just really on point. But anyway, what do you think? In the comments below, like and subscribe. Dream Hanger out.
Jets, they're Decepticons. Ours, Soundwave. Prepare the Energon cubes.
Decepticons retreat.